Welcome to the True Grime Stories podcast, where in every episode, we'll unravel a new mystery of cleaning business transformation from a grimy mess to a great success. Join me, your host, Jeannie Henderson, as together we dig up cleaning business secrets that you've been dying to know. Welcome, everyone, to our next episode of True Grime Stories. You're going to be glad that you're here today because we have a very special guest, and I can't wait to introduce you to her. A good friend of mine and also a CBF coach in cleaning business fundamentals. I'd love to introduce you to Beth Eldredge. She is the owner and founder of Eldredge Cleaning in Royersford, Pennsylvania. And Beth has been in business since she was a college sophomore in 2004. And she co-leads her company with her husband, Walter. So they're also a couple doing business together. I know many of us have that challenge and that opportunity in the cleaning industry, and has built her business to over 1.7 million. She's on her way to the 2 million mark. We work together in the Cleaning Business Fundamentals program, coaching program. And she loves to empower her team and foster a supportive community. And she's amazing at that. She successfully transformed her company from near failure to a thriving business. So I can't wait for Beth to share her grime story with you today. And she's been recognized for her resilience and leadership within our cleaning industry and in her local community, which I think is great that we all do that, lean into our local community. You may know Beth because she is a social media influencer, has over 250,000 followers. I'm not sure the actual number right now on TikTok, but you might also know her as the creator of the Deep Clean Specialist training program. So I highly recommend that as well. So welcome, Beth, to True Grime Stories. I'm glad you're here today.
Me. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've been anxiously awaiting our conversation. So I'm so glad that you could be here with me today. So we like to start out hearing about your grime scene.
Yes.
What was your grime scene? What were some of the big problems that you had to solve? And what was your life like at that point?
So everything was a wreck. So my story is I started the business when I was in college, when I had my daughter when I was in college. And I ended up growing it and growing it and growing it. And I was always trying to, if I can just have more teams and if I can just be branded better. And I was always trying to chase, once I get to this income level, then I'll be okay. But I just kept growing a mess. Mm-hmm. So I grew a very, very large mess. The business was doing over $600,000 a year in revenue. I was still cleaning.
Oh, wow.
I was still cleaning. I was pretty much running it by myself. My husband was doing real estate and helping me out a little bit in the business, but I wasn't letting him really do anything. So
you had to just do it all yourself because you did it the right way.
Because I'm the only one who knows.
Right.
And and then what really hit me, I had my daughter when I was a sophomore in college, and I raised her, grinding it out, cleaning houses. And then I had this business that was pretty big. And
how big was it at that point?
Was that?
Well, how big was it at that point?
600,000. Oh, yeah. About when I got to this next point.
Oh, okay. And about how many people did you have working with you?
I was very proud of my 7 teams of 2.
Okay. So 14 people.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Very proud of that. Very, very proud of it. But I had my daughter who's 11 years younger than the oldest one. And I was doing the same thing. I was grinding, barely getting home in time to pick her up from the sitter or daycare. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? I have all these things now. I have this big business, but I'm still operating the same way I was operating when I was a single mom as a sophomore in college. So to me, just the math wasn't mathing.
And how much time had gone by?
So they were 11 years apart.
Okay. So from 2004 to 2015.
Yep.
Right. So, but not a lot had changed, but you had now this bigger business. So it probably was even more chaos, right? More people to communicate with, more problems to deal with,
yep.
So
it was just
broken.
It was just a big mess, and I was not able to pay my mortgage.
Mm.
People were mad at me all the time. I wasn't spending time with my family. My body hurt because I was cleaning and trying to run. I was so miserable, and I was just done. I was just done. Nothing is worth, like, yes, I have this house and this car, but nothing is worth this level of stress.
And how long were you stuck there?
It was the whole time.
Oh.
I was always there.
Yeah. You just were always in that grime scene.
I was always in crisis. I built my business in crisis, but I would get more revenue, and then I would, buy a house and get a little more revenue. And then, so I kept adding financial pressure as I grew, thinking that I could outrun it, out earn it eventually. And then it just hit me like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so at that point, life is chaotic. You just can't grind on that way anymore.
Right.
So how did you start to where were you searching? How, what were you trying to do to make the changes?
I tried everything. So I had heard about Debbie and CBF, but I'm also so stubborn. And what can she tell me that I don't already know?
Oh, aren't we all so guilty of that, right?
Yeah. And, she's in Texas. I'm in the Northeast. What can she tell me about the Northeast? I just had so many things. And I had tried out some cheaper coaching programs and actually, and some very expensive non-cleaning business coaches. And it was making it worse.
Oh, no.
It was just making it worse. Yeah. And I knew enough to know I was getting really bad advice from some people, like how to operate unethically, like how to hide money, like that kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm not living that life. So
that's smart. Yeah. And I have heard that so many times. There are some people out there who really tell you to do illegal things. It's kind of shocking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had been following Debbie for a while, and I tried out, speed cleaning. I bought speed cleaning first.
All right.
And that was wonderful, and it helped a lot, but it didn't fix, it fixed the speed at which we were cleaning, and it fixed quality, but it didn't fix my business.
Yeah. I mean, those things do cause chaos. And a lot of people can't figure it out. So speed cleaning is a great way to, start to fix your business. Great. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great starting point. And then I just got to the point where I just don't care anymore. I am done. So I signed up for CBF. All
right. So you signed up for Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Yeah. All right. So you're learning now some new strategies that you're trying out. What was one of the things that oh my gosh, this is making a huge change, huge difference for my business? What was one of those things that was a real kind of cure for the problems you were experiencing?
I think it was going solo.
Okay. Solo cleaning. Yeah.
That made such a huge difference right away.
Did you have a hard time wrapping your brain around that? I know I did initially, I had teams also when I started out.
Yeah.
And it was well, how do we do this? How do we schedule?
Yeah. I think I had a hard time wrapping my mind around that any of my team would buy it.
Oh yeah.
That was my concern. It had always made sense to me. You lose productivity the more people you have. That had always, because I'm a math person.
Okay. Yeah.
So I could do the math. Well, this job takes this long with one person, but this job long with two people.
True. Right. So you knew that we lose productivity as we increase the number of people on the job.
Right.
Yeah.
But
some people use 3 people and some people use 4 people. It just keeps compounding.
I know. So I didn't think, but I loved cleaning by myself.
So you knew that cleaning by yourself can be a great experience.
I did, but I didn't think, I'm chronically unique. I didn't think that anyone else would enjoy that. Yeah. So, I didn't think I was going to be able to sell it to the team. And I didn't think I was going to be able to sell it to the clients.
True. Right. I mean, those are all conversations that we have to have. And it gets in our head as business owners because we think we know how people are going to respond to things.
Right.
Or we fear how they're going to respond.
Yes.
So we don't take action sometimes. We're like, oh, people aren't going to like that. So I'm not going to do that.
Right. Or one person one time said they need 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then in my head, everybody thinks they need, I just come to conclusions based off one experience is what I would often do. Yeah. And that's one thing I love about Debbie and CBF is that there is so many people and so many examples of, yes, this actually does work. It's like indisputable.
Yes. Yeah. Right. It helps to take that first step when we don't have to do it in blind faith.
Exactly.
We can actually witness it and see someone experience the success of it and go, oh, well, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And in Cleaning Business Fundamentals, we've seen hundreds of people do exactly that.
Yeah.
Switch to the solo cleaning model, which, creates all kinds of efficiencies for the business. So once you started implementing, did you actually experience those things that you thought you were going to, the resistance from team or resistance from clients? And how did you handle that?
So I did a slow roll with it. I didn't force anyone into it, but I did show them how their pay would break down. Okay. So I had a little bit of resistance from the team. And I said, that's fine if you want to clean with teams, but this is what you would have made solo. So, and then it took 2 weeks maybe.
Okay.
And they were like, oh yeah, just put me solo. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how much time we spend like fearing things and not doing it. And then it took you 2 weeks to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Once they saw the paycheck and they realized that working alone is quite enjoyable, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that, and then with clients, so I think we did get a get out of jail free card because it was the pandemic and it was.
Oh yeah. That did help, right? Because we could say, well, now we're only going to send one person into your home, less exposure,
less risk. And so everyone was fine with that. And then after, it was just letting people know that, you know what, we tried it. Everyone loved it so much. The techs loved it more. The clients were happier with the cleaner that we just went with it. And I have gotten no pushback on that.
That's so great.
Right.
Wow. And, it seems like, it just makes perfect sense that you can clean either with one people or one person or 2 people. Right. But the difference that it makes is exponential. And that's what I would love to come back and talk about. So let's take a break here.
Okay.
And we're going to hear from our sponsor, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Is your cleaning business a grime story? There's no need to stay stuck in the muck because you're not alone. With over 500 active members and more than 500 graduates of our Cleaning Business Fundamentals program, CBF is the #1 cleaning business academy in the world and has created more mop-free millionaires than any program in the industry. Learn more and let CBF take your residential cleaning business from a grime story to a gleaming success. So here we are back with Beth Eldredge from Eldredge Cleaning in Pennsylvania. And Beth was sharing with us about a big change that she made in her business that had big results. So Beth, I can't wait to hear how this change that may seem kind of simple can have such a big result in your business. So share with us kind of some of the results as you started to switch over to solo cleaning that you experienced.
There were so many, and I have to go back.
Time to hear them all. So.
Yeah. So I think one is I needed so fewer people to get the same amount of jobs done.
Okay, so you had
just efficiency.
So you had 14 before. About how many people do you think then it took you to do the work that the 14 were doing?
I know for sure it took 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 5 less people
to do the same revenue.
That's amazing.
It was.
And then so that's 5 less, when your business then evens out, that's 5 less employees you have to manage.
Yeah.
Just your energy that you're saving
Yeah.
on that, and the number of communications that you have to have, and wow.
Yeah. And they were so much happier. The team was once they got used to everything, because they would come to the office every day. They'd pick up their supplies, because I had this fear about them taking supplies home. And they would pick up their keys, and they would pick up their work cell phones, because, like, this all made perfect sense to me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They'd do their day, they'd come back, and then they'd go home. So now they don't have to do all that. They have everything with them. There's no more work phones. We got rid of keys. So they got to go from home to work to the next job and back home, except for once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just happier. They were making significantly more money in less time. So,
yeah. So not only are you improving your business for you, you are improving their job experience.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they were just happier.
Mm-hmm.
They're just all around happier. There was so much less driving for them, because they're not coming back and forth. I have a pretty big service area, because we're in the suburbs. So less wear and tear of the car, less driving, and less drama.
Yeah, because you're not having two people sit in a car together all day.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. So much less drama. People who don't get along and having to manage personalities. It's just, yeah.
I think that people just assume that's part of our business, that we just have to manage that, that this business comes with chaos and drama. So you just, that's just part of the business. But you're proving through making this change that you can eliminate that.
Yeah. Yeah, just about. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's so great. Well, and then when it starts to raise its ugly head, to nip that in the bud.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we know when it happens. We know it happens on deep cleans. And so we learned how to manage that on deep cleans.
Yeah.
So,
right. And that's, part of the beauty of your deep clean specialist program, because deep cleans takes that solo model, and you do then have to have a team working on those deep cleans. I love that you created this program. It's literally revolutionizing our industry. I know, and I don't want to get too far off topic, because I want to talk more about your results, but my team implemented deep clean specialists. My deep clean specialists love what they're doing.
Yeah.
Our level of satisfaction on the job side and for the client side is so much higher. And it's been great. So we'll put a link to your program in our show notes today, because everybody out there, check out Deep Clean Specialist Training. It's amazing for your residential cleaning business. So a little commercial for that there.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I'm so happy to hear it's impacted your business as well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I'm just so glad that you realize, like, this is a game changer. I'm going to share this with the industry, because, it's just one of those things that's one of the areas of chaos that we have in our business, first time cleans. And it really helps solve that issue. Yeah. So another grime story, deep cleans. So more about the results that you've experienced. So what happened in your business? You've improved the job, for the employees. They're getting better pay. What else happened? What happened for you, and what happened for your business growth?
So I was able to, just implement all of the systems that CBF laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you had more time to work on your business. You could focus, because you weren't constantly playing with that puzzle of employees, right?
Right. And I just needed that kind of push to make these changes, and I didn't want to do it. I'm stubborn. But just, I think one of the things about getting to the breaking point is you're just willing to do what it takes to make the changes. Like, if Debbie said do it, I just did it, whether or not I liked it. And every time I did it, things got a little easier and a little bit better. And pretty quickly, and we grew so quickly. I think I counted, it was 900,000 in 19 months.
Yeah. Wow.
It was whiplash growth. No, I don't recommend that. And it was post-pandemic. I don't see us having that market again. Hopefully not, because what it took to get there. But it was whiplash growth, and it was wild. We got into so CBF Elites, which is
Right.
the highest tier in CBF, which I'm sure you've explained. And I was able just to work on my business, and then eventually I could step away, and my husband ran the business, and I was able to coach full time and create deep clean specialist and course creation and influencing. And I was able just to have the best year and a half of my life. The last year and a half of my life has just been like silly.
It's been such a joy watching you grow. I remember the first time I met you, I knew right away that you were a powerhouse, and I'm going to be a little vulnerable. I was a bit intimidated. Like,
oh, what?
I mean, you are very high level, Beth. And I was like, wow, she's amazing. And I'm coaching her, man, like,
oh my God.
and you implemented at just such a high level.
Yeah.
Like you were like, I'm doing this, and then I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. Like you were very serious. And those are the people who have like the big results.
Yeah.
It's like, you just have to keep going forward into the change and believe that it's going to work because it's worked for others.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about cleaning business fundamentals.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
But just to watch your trajectory over that last year and a half. Those of you who don't know Beth yet, just search her out and start watching, because she's very inspiring and entertaining. And what I love, Beth, is that you have just such a great heart for helping everyone in the cleaning industry.
Oh gosh.
It's like you help first. It's not like it's all about what you're going to get from it. You just enjoy helping.
Yeah, I do. There's such a special bunch. Mm-hmm. There's just something so uniquely special about this particular demographic of people. Mm-hmm. We had no problem getting our hands dirty and grinding and then being successful. And I just love this group of people.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, and you may have experienced this, but when I first started out, I was so lonely. Mm. I felt like nobody understood me. My friends thought I was nuts. I'm doing this job where I'm cleaning other people's toilets, that kind of thing. And nobody understood me, and I felt very lonely. But then you come into this community, and you just find all these amazing, success-minded people entrepreneurs who want to grow. I mean, yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It really is. I remember my first live. It was right after I joined. Mm-hmm. And just like exhaling for the first time in I don't know how long. And I think it was my first time out without a mask too. So I was probably exhaling into my mask. I was so nervous. And then, because it was right after the pandemic, but just be okay, like these are my people. Like I'm not alone.
Right. Yeah. And that is such a big part of in entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. You mentioned this earlier that, we think we know it all. Like nobody could possibly, how can somebody down in Texas possibly tell us how to run our business in Pennsylvania? Right. But what you find when you really start to seek it out is that there aren't that many differences between us, right?
No. It's so great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like these are my people.
Yeah. And Beth and I have both coached with many cleaning business owners, and we're in CBF Elite together, which is the top group in our Ascension program at businesses that are at 1.5 million or higher. But CBF is for everyone, whether you're just starting out. I actually just started or talked to a startup yesterday who hasn't even started yet.
Oh, I'm so jealous of them.
I know. If only I had found a coach before.
I know.
But there's just everybody working together to lift each other up, and there just aren't that much difference. As we talk to people, we all are pretty much dealing with the same problem, but the problem is we're out there trying to figure it out by ourselves.
Absolutely. Yep.
So what's in the future for Beth Eldredge and Eldredge Cleaning and all these amazing things that you're creating in your head?
Oh yeah. So, I'm excited. with my husband to continue to grow, grow our teams, grow our leadership. I really, really want to be seen. So we have so much public, we're so much in the public because of our social media.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want that to go to waste. And I want that to be, I really want to set the example of you can be a really strong, healthy, successful, profitable business and be wonderful contributors to your community and to your team. So I really want to use that notoriety that we have in social media just to spread the word of the power of small businesses and how we really, truly make a difference in our local communities and beyond.
Yeah. I mean, small business is the backbone of the United States.
Yeah.
There are more small businesses like ours than all those other giant, corporations out there. And more people are employed by businesses like ours than all the others, and so we do make a difference. And I think in the residential cleaning industry, we're part of a movement.
Yes.
We're on the cusp of this industry just really taking off. It's a great time to join it. It's a great time to be in the residential cleaning industry. I think there's just so much positive energy, and there's definitely an elevation of the professionalism, the systemization, the technology.
It's wild.
It's wild. How much has changed in just this little short period of time.
Yeah, it's wild. And I get such a kick out of when I'm doing networking and explaining what we do. And, like you said, even the software that we use, people are like, I'm sorry, what?
You start talking about your tech stack and they're like, excuse me, what business are you in again?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's delightful.
Yeah. And it's great. I bet your community is absolutely floored to have you be part of it. And, I just think I'm going to just love watching the difference that you're going to make in the world. You've already made a huge dent in the universe, just on your own.
Thank you.
And I just love watching it and being able to tag along on your journey and watch your adventures. But I just want to thank you because you are making a difference in the lives of a lot of cleaning business owners by sharing your stories. Beth has lots of great stories. This is just one. We don't have time to do them all today, but Beth is very vulnerable. She shares a lot of what she's been through, and just every time I hear another one of the things that you've experienced, I love to see how it not only helps me. It's so encouraging to me, the stories that you've shared, but to see, I've been in a room where Beth is talking to hundreds of people sharing her stories, and I can look around the room and just see how moved they are. And it's just amazing. So you're a force for good. And I think that, your impact is just going to keep going and going and going.
Wow, Jeannie, thank you so much. That I can't tell you what that means to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that, we were brought together because I think that, we are all here to help each other. And for any cleaning business owner who's out there listening to us today, you do not have to go it alone. There's many communities of cleaning business owners out there, and I encourage you to seek them out because there's plenty of business for all of us. We are not competitors. And we can so help each other grow. And I love what you shared today, Beth, because that's one of the biggest changes that I had to make in my business too. And I had a very similar experience. That it seemed like something so simple, but it was so impactful.
Yeah.
So
and that's just one of the changes that CBF taught.
Out of dozens, right?
There's so many. Yeah, that was just one. So it's just, it's unbelievable how many. It really, I wouldn't have believed it until I experienced it. And even the community that you spoke of, like you were speaking of, such a tight-knit, loving community. And we're all similar in cleaning businesses, but we're all very different too. Very unique, such a spectrum of humans. Right. And there's so much love between us and so much help. I know I have friends in CBF that it would just be a phone call. They'd be on a plane. Right. And I know that with all of my heart, and I would do the same. And where do you find that?
Yeah, it's, and I think cleaning business owners, I mean, we become cleaning business owners because we have a heart for serving others.
Mhm.
And I think that's why our community tends to be so close, because we bring our heart to work every day.
Yeah.
We're very passion driven.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people probably don't think about cleaning that way, but if you're going to clean somebody's house, it's a very personal thing. So you have to have a heart of service to do it for an extended period of time.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
And so I bet that's really why our community is just, man, like so passionate. One of my friends, RJ Patel, said this about the cleaning community. He said at networking events, people usually shake hands, but in the cleaning community, we hug.
It's true.
Isn't that true?
It's true. Yes, it is true. And I will say we are led well.
Yes, right.
We're led
Great
well,
example.
and and that's such a important piece to the community, is that, I know there's integrity, and I know that there's trust, and beautiful examples all around us of people leading with integrity. So
yeah, that makes all the difference. Yeah.
All the difference. Yeah.
All the difference. Well, what piece of advice would you like to leave our audience with today? If they're out there, living their own grime scene, or if they're thinking about starting a cleaning business and they don't want it to be a grime story, what kind of advice do you have for them?
The first would be seek out a group like CBF, or seek out another group of people that are going through it. That will make all the difference in everything. And then the other one is don't quit before the miracle happens.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. There are so many times where I'm like, I don't know if I have another day in me. And then 2 days later, it all turns around.
That's so, that persistence and resilience, which I think comes naturally to many of us in this industry. You have to be resilient. Yeah. But we do see people give up, and you don't have to, because there's help.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely. There's help and support. Well, wow, Beth, that was really good. Got a little teary on that one. That was really sweet. But thank you so much for being here today and sharing, not just with our audience, but with our industry as a whole. You're a great inspiration to all of us. And we're just honored to have you on True Grime Stories with us today. Yeah. So thank you. And everyone who is watching, be sure to, subscribe and share this episode with your friends. And be sure to come back and see us again for our next episode of True Grime Stories. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Beth. We'll see you soon. Yeah. Bye, everybody. Bye. That's a wrap on today's True Grime Stories. Thanks for joining us in uncovering the secrets of cleaning business success. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and download, and check out our show notes for links and info from today's episode, and to learn more about our sponsor, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Join us next time as we solve another True Grime story.